The city was always speaking, not in words, but in the flicker of broken neon signs, in the hiss of cooling vents pouring out chemical steam, in the rhythm of boots on rusted metal grates. Neo-Yokohama didn't sleep. It processed endlessly. Data, bodies, memories. Everything was a transaction, even grief. Mika sat hunched in a corner stall of Sector B-14's lowest ring, one cybernetic hand curled around a bowl of steaming synth ramen, the other resting on the grip of her sidearm beneath the table. She watched a static buzzing hollow screen drift by on a delivery drone, its edges warped by rain. Her eyes were tired. Not the kind of tired you sleep off, the other kind. She'd been off-grid for almost 6 years now, long enough for her old name to mean nothing, long enough for OxiCorp to think she was dead or not worth hunting anymore, but not long enough for her to stop looking over her shoulder. And that was when he walked in. Not a suit, not a thug. Just a man in a soaked trench coat carrying a silence that felt intentional. He sat across from her without asking.
It's personal.
"You've got the wrong woman," she muttered. But something about the shard, the strange etching on its side like the pattern of frost she used to trace on her bedroom window as a kid, made her fingers twitch. She slotted it into her wrist port and heard her sister's voice. Mika. They're using her. They built the city on her mind. Her breath caught. Lena, 5 years gone. Cremated, buried, dead, except not. They'd told her Lena died in a neural collapse during a test run of OxiCorp's Mirrornet project. A freak incident. No details. She got a call, then a waiver to sign. Cremation handled. The remains delivered in a sealed box that had never felt heavy enough. Lena had been the smart one. The idealist. A behavioral systems architect with a near supernatural ability to understand people. She was the type that believed code could make life better, that networks could be humane, that the right simulation could predict disaster and prevent it. OxiCorp had different ideas. Mirrornet was supposed to be a predictive AI model, designed to simulate society at scale. A mirror world where billions of synthetic consciousnesses reacted to billions of variables, all controlled by a core intelligence. Build it right, and you could control outcomes in the real world before they happened. But no one could get the architecture stable. Too much complexity. The sim world would collapse under its own contradictions. Until Lena volunteered to let them copy her mind. Mika left her ramen untouched, walked straight into the rain. She didn't run. Running made people look. She moved like a shadow with a purpose. She needed information, and there was only one person she trusted for that kind of deep-dive corporate dirt. Karnal. The warehouse was buried 3 levels below the surface, behind a disused subway line and a forgotten maintenance tunnel. No signs, no lights, just a flickering green camera that scanned Mika's face before buzzing the door open. Karn looked worse than she remembered. Bulkier, slower. His face was still mostly human, but his arms had been replaced with reinforced servomechs, and his jaw glowed faintly from the inside. A respiratory upgrade, maybe. Or a weapon.
Didn't expect to see you.
He said.
Thought you were retired.
Me too. Karn poured her a shot of synth whiskey and slid it over.
So, what brings the dead back to life?
She dropped the data shard on his table. He scanned it, sat back, exhaled a long breath.
Shit.
Yeah.
She's not just in the Mirrornet. She is the Mirrornet. They wired her consciousness into the mainframe and built the sim world on top. Your sister isn't running code. She's the foundation.
Mika rubbed her temples. Is she alive? Karn hesitated.
Define alive.
She looked at him. He looked away.
She's aware, but she's splintered. Parts of her run citywide infrastructure, traffic, weather, social flow, commerce AI. Other parts? Locked in simulation loops, nightmares, tests. They're still running psychometrics on her.
They've been torturing her for 5 years. Karn didn't respond. He didn't need to. The only way to break her out would be to shut down the Mirrornet's core. But that wasn't an option, not without bringing half the city crashing down. Unless she found the back door. Mika dove into old memory logs Lena had left hidden inside the shard. One fragment stood out, a childhood memory of the two of them by the creek near their mother's cabin, where Lena had once fallen off the swing and hit her head. It had been a turning point, a moment of vulnerability. That's where Lena had hidden a key. She had encoded a kill switch into the simulation, wrapped it around that memory. If someone could find that moment inside the sim world and trigger the protocol, it would shut down her mind's integration with the system, ending her suffering. But it would also kill her. Mika would have to make the call. The only way to access the sim directly was via a military-grade neural uplink. Karn helped her rig a bootleg unit out of scavenged corp tech and a neural bleed injector, a brutal, illegal device that let you bypass security by fusing your own consciousness with the AI's for a limited time.
Once you're in, the clock starts ticking.
He warned her.
Too long, and you won't be able to tell which mind is yours anymore.
Mika nodded. How long do I have?
15 minutes, give or take.
She lay back. The injector hissed. The world blinked out. The sim world looked wrong. It mimicked the real city in layout, but it was too quiet, too perfect. Crowds moved like choreographed dancers. Trains ran exactly on time. Rain fell in mathematically even intervals. This wasn't a simulation. It was a cage. Mika moved through it like a ghost, tracing old neural pathways Lena had left behind like breadcrumbs. She found the creek. It was just like their childhood, water running cold and clear, trees rustling in artificial wind, and Lena, sitting on the swing. She looked up, smiled.
You came.
Mika felt a lump in her throat. Is it really you? Lena nodded. Her eyes shimmered, too real for code.
I knew you'd find me, even if it took years.
Mika dropped to her knees beside her. I'm getting you out,
I know,
Lena said softly.
but you have to kill me to do it.
I can pull your consciousness. Karn says,
You can't. They fuse me to the infrastructure. You tear me out, and the entire sim collapses. That's 2 million people who depend on it for life support, traffic regulation, emergency services. I die either way, but this way, no one else has to.
Mika clenched her fists. You're not supposed to be the brave one, she whispered.
I wasn't,
Lena said.
until I had to be.
She stood. The code key hovered in the air like a memory fragment. It pulsed gently. All she had to do was reach out and touch it. Are you sure? Mika asked. Lena smiled.
I've been alone for 5 years. Even pain stops hurting after a while. But silence? Silence eats you.
Mika touched the fragment. The world shuddered. Lights dimmed. Code unraveled. Sim people froze mid-step, their faces dissolving into static. Lena remained, sitting on the swing until the trees dissolved behind her.
Thank you.
She said, and then she was gone. Mika woke up on a cold slab, coughing up blood. Karn sat nearby, fingers twitching nervously.
You were gone 17 minutes. Thought I lost you.
She looked up. Is it done? He nodded.
Mirrornet's down. They're blaming a rogue EMP. OxiCorp's stock is in freefall. They're scrambling to contain it.
Mika sat up slowly. Everything ached, but she felt something she hadn't in years. Stillness,
She deserved better.
Karn said. Yeah, Mika whispered. So did everyone. She left the city a week later. No one stopped her. No one cared. Neo-Yokohama didn't remember heroes. It barely remembered its own name. But somewhere, in the dead corners of the old net, a signal still echoed. Not a warning, not a call, just a whisper. She was here, and she mattered.